Nadeem, we're at a really busy Microlise 2025, but take me first of all through your journey with the company, because you've really been through, am I right, about 20 years you've been with the company?
Sadly, even longer than that.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, firstly, thanks for having me on. I joined the company in the late 80s. So 37 years or something it's been. So it's been a good long while. I started off as a software engineer. I was writing software since the age of 14. I didn't join Microlise at the age of 14. I joined it when a few months after I left university, and then went on to look at the research and development department. I got involved with electronics. I got involved with some of our hardware manufacture, and then did lots of things all around the business. I was very fortunate to get a well-rounded view of all the operations across the business, and that's really helped when ended up being CEO in 2008.
So let's take a look at your role now, because it is in that time you've obviously seen an ever changing world, and that's one of the things I think we've discovered from people we've been talking today. I mean, there's so many things I can look here. They've come up. I mean, you've been really, I suppose, as a company at the forefront of digital transformation within the company. Tell me, how that's evolved.
Well, I think we've got a lot of technical and engineering expertise, and I'd say 15, 20 years ago we were really good at solving problems. We could, no challenge was too big for us. The problem was you can fix a lot of things but not necessarily make any money from them, and so it was more. We've now shifted in the last 15 years to getting a better understanding of what customers' issues are and the commercial aspects of how is that impacting their business, and looking at those sorts of things and working on really how do we help them save money, how do we help them do more with the resources that they have, often scarce resources, often difficult to get hold of resources, etc. So we've become much more commercial in the way that we look at helping customers.
By you becoming more commercial in the way you look at customers, how does that help them become more commercial?
Well, because it means that they're focused on actually what's driving their business. What tools and data do they need to actually help them run their business and grow their business? That's a big challenge these days when it's obviously a difficult economic market. It's a very competitive market, and you've got a variety of vehicles, trailers, drivers, etc. Whether it's a driver shortage or a skill shortage in technicians or all those sorts of things. There's lots of challenges there, and trying to understand what's actually going to help move the needle for you as an organisation to either earn more revenue or increase your profit margins or help you reduce your costs. That's part of that is being able to have the data in the first place that can tell you, well, this is where I'm potentially weak or potentially inefficient, and the second thing is having the tools necessary to actually do something about it, and that's really what we try and do for our customers. And we've got some very specialist people who have worked in lots of operations. Our customer success team have worked in lots of different operations that have implemented and used our systems across a wide variety of industry sectors, and it's those people that we send in to help our customers and identify opportunities where they can create wins.
So with increased access to data, also comes increased risks as well. One of the things we've been talking about is cybersecurity, which you've really had a focus on at this event. How do you think that's particularly affected? Cybersecurity has affected your industry.
I think that where you have foreign threat actors, whether they are state-backed or not, or just criminal gangs, certainly state-backed threat actors. This industry is a great hunting ground. One, because we drive the economy. Without the transport and logistics operations, you would quickly grind to a halt. If you want to have a big impact on the economy, this is a great sector to go and attack. Secondly, a lot of our customers are very focused on drivers, vehicles, assets, and although they use IT systems, they may not have their own internal IT resources. A lot of it may be contracted out. So it makes them prime targets for that kind of criminal activity. And we see one customer or two customers, every week, every fortnight, having some kind of incident. It's that frequent now, sadly, and so part of why we wanted to cover that topic today, because we had that experience and a lot of learnings from that, but we also wanted to share that with a lot of our customers to help them prepare for that kind of eventuality in the coming months and years.
And without going into too much detail, how did that cyber attack affect your business?
Well, for us, we obviously provide services and products to our customers, and if we can't do that, then effectively our business stops. About 80% of our customers were impacted. Some of them for a couple of days, some of them for about 2 weeks. So yeah, it was a fairly significant event. I'm pleased to say that none of our customers' data was taken, and interestingly, that was the number one question that we got from customers when we talked to them about it was, well, has anybody taken any of my PII data on my customers or my staff, etc. I'm pleased to say none of that was ever taken. In fact, it was an attack that happened from our head office rather than in our data centers. So there was a lot of learnings from it, but it was it's something that hopefully we can share those learnings with a lot of our customers.
And that's one of the things when we've been talking today with people who are on the panel. It's all about, they were saying about sharing and about working together. And how do you think that just purely by doing this today, it has made a difference?
Well, I think collaboration came up quite a lot, didn't it?
Yeah.
Whether you were talking about Chris Welsh about his sharing his charging infrastructure with other organisations, sometimes competitors as well. It's something that I think we all have to do a lot more of to actually become more efficient. The statistics on empty running. If you looked at the statistics for empty running of vehicles, where you're just shifting air, hasn't really improved that much over the last 10 years, last 15 years. And there's a lot to go out there. And if you think about what is actual waste, well, that is actual waste. Where you're just transporting air is waste. The only way we can deal with that is through more collaboration across the industry. And I think that's something that we've got to work on to see how we can do more of that.
AI comes into a lot of business now and technology now. How important do you think it is to have that AI technology within the transport and logistics industry?
I think it is important, absolutely, and I think a lot of it is to do with the amount of data that we have, the amount of data we collect, etc. But I think the key thing is, let's not talk about AI. Let's talk about what are the benefits that actually that enables us to deliver. What kind of value do we create for our customers? What kind of value do they create for their end customers by using AI somewhere in the product set? And that's really the key thing. There's a lot of stuff about AI that is often very gimmicky in my view, and really what we should be focused on is looking at what actual benefits, real life benefits, can it actually deliver that's going to help customers and help their customers at the end of the day.
So if you could sort of look ahead into, the next 5-10 years, say, what sort of changes or innovations do you see waiting for us around the corner?
Well, I think there's certainly going to be a lot more automation and particularly with back office processes, etc. I think we're going to see AI and other things help those back office staff be able to do a lot of things more easily, more quickly. I don't think we're going to replace drivers in the near future. I think there may be certain things that where we're moving things, maybe shunting across in the yards may become something that can be more automated. But I don't think we're going to see lots of driverless vehicles driving through London. It's just, that kind of environment doesn't necessarily lend itself to autonomous driving, and probably not for a few years yet.
And sustainability as well, that's a real key thing, isn't it? Looking at greener, we were talking to somebody earlier about their electric production through using solar, whatever.
Yeah.
What do you sort of see in a way going forward with what will be the key issues that will make us more sustainable?
So I think that we have sustainability, as Microlise, we have sustainability goals like a lot of other organisations have stated, and we're trying to get to net zero by 2030. You draw the graph that says, well, these are our emissions today. This is where we're trying to get to, and therefore we've got to save X amount every year. The first 1 or 2 years are easy. You electrify your fleet. You put solar panels on buildings. You do reduce a whole load of other costs. And then you look at going forward and going, wow, it's going to be difficult in terms of thinking of ideas of what we can do next year and the year after that and the year after that. And eventually you're going to end up to a point where you are going to have to do some offsetting. You're going to have to go off and fund external organisations or external funds that go off and do some kind of either carbon capture or some other kind of renewables. And I think we're going to get to that fairly quickly. Yeah, because you can't do the things that we do without creating some form of emissions. Whether it's even if you go over to an electric vehicle, etc. Well, actually, the vehicle itself, the driver coming to the warehouse, etc. All of those emissions are still occurring. Yeah, and you've got to find another way of offsetting that.
And this event, this Microlise event, I mean, we've had some wonderful feedback from people just saying so much of it for them is just about communicating, face-to-face communicating. How do you hope that the event can further expand and grow and offer those opportunities?
Well, I think we've talked about collaboration, and I think it's about trying to make those connections. It's a place where we often see competitors talking to each other. Isn't that great? Where people can come along and, in a safe environment, talk about the problems they're having with a competitor. And that's the kind of environment that we're trying to create with this. Is where you can come along, you can understand about what's going on. Obviously, we had National Highways and Department for Transport presenting as well, talking about some of their visions and things that they're working on. We'll obviously give them the feedback from the audience as well, and there was some quite interesting feedback and some interesting questions coming from there, which may surprise them in terms of what is at top of mind for some of our audience, and it's creating that environment where those sorts of communications and those sorts of collaborative efforts can take place, not just within the industry, but obviously with legislative bodies, with government, and with other suppliers and partners as well.
Nadeem, thank you so much for taking the time out, because I'm sure you've been a little bit busy today.
I have a great team behind me, and really the credit should go to all of the Microlise people that have done all of the work and put all this together, and obviously continuing on taking it all down again later on today. So yeah, the credit goes to them. I'm just here doing interviews.
Marvellous, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you.